Hello, this is Claus Jensen. Earlier today I made a video on Carlsen's round 6 win over Ivanchuk. And in this video you shall see the second win from round 6. It's Nakamura against the tournament leader Shirov. Nakamura is white and we have a Sicilian game. I think the variation is the Pelican variation, but I'm not quite sure about the name. But let's have a look at the opening moves. It's this variation that I'm not quite sure of the name of. And we reached the 10th move, and in this position we note that taking on e4 looks tempting, and then d5 the fork here, but it doesn't work because of queen takes, knight f6 check is forking the queen and the king, and instead of winning a pawn, black has lost one and is having a bad position. Just a little sideline here. Shirov plays knight d4. Nakamura takes on f5 and knight e3 here. And we can say that Shirov has equalized from the opening. I think black's position is perfectly okay and has been played several times before. But now he deviates from the main line, which is bishop to e6. But instead, Shirov prefers bishop g6 here, trying to keep his bishop active. But of course, the downside of this bishop g6 is that from here it cannot support a d5 push. But one of the good points about bishop g6 is not only that it's more active here, also the knight on d4 can go to e6 if it should be chased away, which is actually what happens in the game, as we shall see. So there are some points to bishop g6 instead of bishop e6. Knight c to d5, bishop h6. Again here Shirov goes for the active position of the bishop. The more safe position is probably to play bishop g7 here, but this would not be Shirov's style. c3, and now comes this knight e6, which is of course a good square for the knight. Bishop d3, Shirov takes on e3, knight takes, queen b6, castles, knight f4, and here Nakamura could have exchanged bishops on g6, and this was probably an alternative that he considered. And although Shirov has an open h-file, it's not so dangerous for white in this position. But he didn't take on a g6. Instead, he played bishop e2, and now it could be a possibility for Shirov to take on b2, take this poison pawn, you might call it, because what happens is that if he takes on a b2, then of course Nakamura takes on d6, Shirov takes on c3, but then comes knight g4, and white is getting a very good attack for the pawn. f5, knight f6 check, king f7, knight d5, knight takes, queen takes, king g7, rook a to c1, and white is having a very strong attack and is clearly better, although he is a pawn down. So taking on b2 would be too dangerous. Shirov played rook g8 instead, of course putting his rook in an open file, and also eyeing the white king position. But then he also decides that he doesn't want to castle kingside. At least he can still castle queenside if he wish. But that's the only option he has left here. Nakamura plays bishop f3 here, transfers his bishop to another diagonal, and perhaps he was even thinking of at some point play g3 and bishop g2. Oops, play bishop g2 with a very safe king position, but those plans were never to be carried out because Shirov here seeks complications and plays knight h3 check. And Shirov this is his style of play. He seeks complications, and he has been very successful until now in this tournament. But this time he's up against an opponent that makes no mistakes. And what happens is, of course, king h1 is forced. Knight takes f2, rook takes, queen takes e3. And now we see one of the points of bishop f3, because now Nakamura can take on b7. So he has not lost any material here. And after rook b8, rook e2, queen b6, bishop d5. Material is even here, and but Nakamura has clearly the better position. He has better pawns, and his bishop here on d5 is very strong and much better than its counterpart on g6. And so this is a slightly better position for Nakamura. Rook g7, and in the coming sequence of moves, Nakamura is playing sound and logical moves and improving his position for every one of them. It's quite amazing to see how this advantage for Nakamura just gets bigger and bigger, as we shall see here. Rook f1, king d7, b4. Nakamura starts moving his queenside pawns forward, f4, a4, and here Shirov plays a5, which allows Nakamura protected pass pawn with b5 and rook d8. And rook d8 is a very nice illustration of Shirov having no active plans in this position. All he can do is watch how Nakamura keeps improving his position, and slowly but surely Nakamura is entering Shirov's position. G3 follows here, activating the f1 rook after f takes, h takes, king c8, c4, king b8, rook f6. Now we see how Nakamura is nearing the heart of Shirov's position. Rook e7, and Shirov is simply being outplayed now. It's a very strong performance from Nakamura. e4, queen c3, rook c8, rook e3, blocking the pawn, king a7, bishop c6, rook d8, and c5. And here Nakamura is forced to take on c5, bishop takes e4, removing this dangerous, possibly dangerous pawn. Rook d6, rook takes, queen takes, and queen takes a5 with check. And next would come rook to d3. And of course, this position is winning for white, and Shirov resigns the game here. This was his first loss in the tournament after wins in the first 5 rounds and a draw in the round 6. Shirov is still leading the tournament, but now only half a point ahead of Nakamura and Carlsen. I hope you enjoyed this great game from Nakamura, and I hope to see you on my blog at klausjensen.com. Bye bye for now.